Have you ever loved someone who acted like they didn't even notice? Have you ever given your trust to someone who only took it for granted? Now, imagine this: what if that someone was a Virgo? And what if hurting them wasn't just a mistake, but the beginning of your own downfall? Here's the truth most people don't realize. Virgos aren't the loudest. They're not the ones who fight back with shouting or drama. But they are the ones who remember everything. They see what you think they missed. They feel what you thought they ignored. And once you cross the line, they disappear. Quietly. Completely. But that's not the real punishment. Because when a Virgo walks away, karma follows you. Not as revenge, but as a lesson. A lesson you won't forget. In today's video, you're about to discover why hurting a Virgo is one of the worst mistakes you can make. And why their silence will echo in your life long after they're gone. If you're someone who values honesty, loyalty, and understanding the hidden side of people, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Click like if you've ever felt taken for granted. And share this video with someone who needs to hear the truth. Now, let's dive deep into the mind and heart of Virgo. Have you ever wondered why some people seem unbothered by chaos, while others silently carry the weight of the world? Let me tell you something most people don't realize: Virgos are not looking for grand gestures, loud declarations, or dramatic promises. What they crave, deep inside, is emotional safety. Not fireworks, not turbulence, just the quiet reassurance that they're understood and protected. To a Virgo, emotional safety is more valuable than any romantic speech. They choose calm over chaos, trust over thrill. Think about your own relationships. How many times have you mistaken passion for love? How often have you felt safe, truly safe, with someone? That's what Virgo gives and expects in return. But when that safety is broken, when they feel betrayed, something inside them shifts. They don't scream. They don't fight. They step back, silently. And most people think that silence is rejection. It's not. It's survival. Virgo's withdrawal is not about punishing you. It's about saving themselves. Let me share a story. I once knew a woman named Emma. She was a classic Virgo, calm, thoughtful, always the first to offer help, even when no one asked. She loved quietly. Not with words, but with actions. She'd remember the little things. The way you liked your coffee. The song that calmed you when you were sad. The advice you needed but were too afraid to ask for. That was her love language. But one day, someone she trusted broke that trust. Lied. Not once, but repeatedly. And instead of confronting them, Emma disappeared from their life. No fight. No drama. Just silence. And the person who hurt her? They didn't realize the weight of her absence until their life started to feel emptier. Because when a Virgo leaves, what you lose isn't loud. It's the quiet support you never noticed until it's gone. Now here's the thing most people forget: Virgos get hurt more than they show. Their pain isn't displayed. It's hidden behind their smile, behind their calm tone, behind the way they still show up for others, even when their heart is bleeding. They internalize everything. Every betrayal, every dismissal, every moment of being taken for granted. But why? Because they analyze. Not just others, but themselves. Every hurt makes them question if they gave too much. If they trusted too soon. If they made a mistake by opening up. And the tragedy? Many times, they blame themselves before blaming the person who hurt them. Think about that for a moment. How many Virgos in your life have walked away without explanation? How many kept their tears hidden just to protect your peace? It's not weakness. It's their way of surviving. They believe that healing should happen in silence, but that silence doesn't mean they've forgiven. It means they're processing, detaching, protecting what's left of their heart. And yet, despite all this, Virgos continue to help. Even after betrayal, even after heartbreak, their instinct is to serve. Not out of obligation. Not to earn affection. But because helping others is how they express love. They might drive across town at midnight just to bring you medicine. They might listen for hours, offering advice they know you won't take. They might support your dreams silently, cheering for you when no one else does. That's Virgo love. Not loud. Not flashy. But constant. And here's the painful truth. Many people mistake this quiet loyalty for something ordinary. They don't see the depth of care behind those small acts. Until one day, those acts stop. And by then, it's too late. Let me ask you, when was the last time you thanked the person who remembers your favorite meal? Who checks on you when you're quiet? Who shows up for you? Not just in grand moments, but in ordinary days? If that person is a Virgo, cherish them. Tell them you notice. Because their help isn't an obligation. It's a gift. And when you misuse that gift, you don't just lose their help, you lose their presence. Their protection. Their quiet love that holds your life together more than you realize. So next time a Virgo withdraws, don't ask why they're being cold. Ask yourself when you stopped making them feel safe. When you forgot that even the strongest hearts need protecting too. Virgos see loyalty as a choice. Not an obligation. Not something they owe to anyone. They choose who they give their loyalty to. And once they give it fully. Quietly. Steadily. But here's where most people make a mistake. They assume Virgo's loyalty is automatic. That it comes without conditions. That's not true. Virgo gives, but they watch. They analyze. Not out of suspicion, but out of wisdom. Every small interaction, every unspoken moment, becomes a part of their emotional data. You might not even notice, but they're building a map of how you treat them. And that map tells them whether to stay or to walk away. Their mind works differently. While others look for big betrayals, Virgo watches the small signs. The dismissive tone. The forgotten promises. The moments you interrupted instead of listening. To you, it's nothing. To them, it's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. Imagine this. You're with someone who seems patient, forgiving, calm. And one day, they're just gone. No explanation. No argument. No second chance. That's how Virgo leaves. Not impulsively. Not angrily. But with clarity. By the time you notice their silence, they've already analyzed the entire situation. They've processed every hurt, every disappointment, every second you made them feel invisible. And once their decision is made, there's no turning back. What's even harder to accept is that Virgo blames themselves before blaming you. They replay every moment, wondering if they expected too much. If they were too sensitive. If they misunderstood. But deep down, they know. And when they know, they protect themselves. Not to hurt you, but to heal themselves. The betrayal, for Virgo, isn't just the lie itself. It's the shift in your energy. The broken trust becomes a message to their subconscious, it's time to detach. And when a Virgo detaches, it's not emotional revenge. It's survival. Think about this in your own life. How many people have you lost, not because of a dramatic fight, but because of silent detachment? How many times did you only notice their absence, when the silence became too loud? Virgos don't make a scene. They make a decision. And that decision stays final. They don't seek revenge. They seek distance. And that distance is the real consequence. The hardest part? You won't know when it's happening. Because Virgos are masters of silent detachment. They'll still smile. still be polite. But inside, they've already closed the door. And once it's closed, it doesn't reopen. And yet, after all this, Virgos won't hate you. They won't speak badly about you. They won't seek validation from others. They'll simply reorganize their life without you in it. Now, you might wonder why they go through all this silently. The answer is simple: they're protecting what's left of themselves. Virgos don't like messy endings. They prefer clean exits. They don't want revenge. They want peace. And sometimes, peace means being alone. But here's the beautiful and painful truth. When a Virgo walks away, they don't just take themselves. They take their loyalty, their quiet care, their hidden protection, and their subtle presence. The parts of them you didn't even notice until they were gone. That's why betrayal changes a Virgo at their core. It's not just about you. It's about the future version of themselves. They adjust their boundaries. They raise their standards. And they become even harder to reach emotionally. Not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Next time you're in a situation where you think someone will just forgive and forget, remember this. Virgos don't forget. They restructure. And in their silence, they're not punishing you. They're rebuilding themselves. There's something powerful in how Virgos handle pain. They don't externalize it. They don't seek pity. They use it. Pain becomes their blueprint for future protection. And the person who once hurt them becomes the reason they're more guarded with the next. So, ask yourself, are you someone who gives reasons or regrets? Because when you lose a Virgo, you don't just lose a person. You lose a quiet guardian. You lose a mirror that reflected your better self. And you lose a soul that once believed in you, completely. But what if I told you, the most powerful part of Virgo's healing isn't in how they detach from others. It's in how they redefine themselves after the silence. Stay with me. Because the final 3 truths will reveal the deepest and most controversial side of Virgo. And once you understand them, you may never look at love or loss the same way again. Virgos don't search for love through empty promises or charming words. What they're really searching for is emotional honesty. It doesn't matter how beautiful your words are if your energy feels wrong. They can sense when something doesn't add up. It's like their soul catches the smallest shift in your tone, the smallest hesitation in your voice. You might think you're good at hiding your real feelings. But Virgo notices. Always. It's not because they're suspicious. It's because their mind is wired to protect their heart. They've been hurt before. Quietly. Silently. And they've learned to trust patterns more than people. If your actions and your energy don't match your words, Virgo steps back. They detach not out of anger, but out of wisdom. And once they feel something's wrong, they don't confront you immediately. They study you. Silently. Patiently. Like a puzzle they've already solved, but they're watching to confirm their answer. You won't notice the moment they decide to pull away. They'll still smile. Still help. But inside, the distance is growing. People often ask, why do Virgos seem cold when they used to be warm? Why do they act distant when nothing obvious happened? The truth is, something did happen. You just didn't notice it. But they did. Because Virgos analyze intentions, not just actions. They're not interested in what you did once to impress them. They're watching what you consistently do when you think they're not looking. And when your intentions feel wrong, their heart starts building walls. Not fast. Not dramatically. Quietly. One brick at a time. Think of someone you know who seems calm, but suddenly stops sharing their thoughts with you. Stopped opening up. That's what happens when a Virgo realizes your presence drains their peace instead of nurturing it. They let go. Without shouting. Without closure. Just a quiet retreat to protect themselves. What's harder is Virgo won't explain why. Because from their point of view, you should already know. Now, you might think that Virgo is heartless for detaching like this. But that's not true. Underneath, they're hurting. Deeply. But they believe their peace matters more than explaining their pain to someone who never noticed it in the first place. This leads us to something even more important. When Virgo forgives you, it's not what you think. Forgiveness, for them, isn't about giving you another chance to hurt them. Forgiveness is an internal decision to release the emotional burden, not to reset the relationship. People often confuse Virgo's calm forgiveness as an invitation back into their life. But Virgo's version of forgiveness is different. It's quiet closure. It's saying to themselves, I accept what happened, and now I choose distance. And when Virgo chooses distance, nothing brings them back. Not apologies. Not promises. Not even love. Because in their heart, they've accepted that protecting their peace is more important than repairing something already broken. I've seen this happen countless times. A man who ignored his Virgo partner's silent needs. A friend who constantly took from a Virgo without giving back. And when they finally noticed the Virgo was gone, it was too late. They tried calling, texting, explaining. But the response was polite, distant, and final. And that's where most people misunderstand Virgo's silence. It's not a pause. It's a boundary. And boundaries, once set by Virgo, don't move. Virgos don't draw boundaries to punish you. They draw them to protect themselves. Once you become the source of their anxiety, their sleepless nights, their second guessing, you become the reason they choose peace over connection. That's how much they value emotional safety. Their heart is strong. But their peace is sacred. Virgo doesn't explain their boundaries because they believe one simple truth: if you truly valued them, you wouldn't have needed a warning. And now, you're standing outside a door that was once open, now forever closed. But what hurts even more is realizing that Virgo didn't walk away out of hate. They walked away out of disappointment. Quiet. Deep. Final. And as you stand there, wondering how to fix it, they're not angry anymore. They're already healing. Not for you. But for themselves. Their silence isn't revenge. It's rebirth. And when you lose them, you lose their quiet loyalty. Their subtle protection. Their invisible support. The parts of them you didn't even realize until they were gone. But the most heartbreaking lesson? Virgo still wishes you well. From a distance you can never cross again. In the final part of this video, you'll discover the 3 most painful, most powerful, and perhaps most controversial truths about Virgo. Stay with me. Because once you understand them, you'll never see silence the same way again. Virgos don't just forgive and forget. That's not how their mind works. What they do is something quieter and much harder to recognize. They store every emotional moment as data. Not out of revenge. Not because they're keeping score. But because that's how they protect themselves in the future. Their memory is selective. But not in the way you think. They won't remember every argument. But they'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the moment they stopped feeling safe. The moment they realized they weren't valued. That memory doesn't fade. It becomes a silent warning inside them. A quiet rule: don't let this happen again. And here's what most people never realize: once you're on Virgo's silent blacklist, you don't even know it. They won't treat you badly. They won't be rude. But their energy changes. The warmth disappears. The small acts of care, the subtle ways they used to show up for you, they stop. And they stop for good. You might wonder why they're different. Why conversations feel colder. Why they stopped asking about your day. Why they don't seem interested in fixing things. That's because, in their mind, they already fixed it by letting you go emotionally. You just didn't notice it yet. Virgos aren't cruel. They're just decisive. When they see a pattern that tells them you're not safe for their heart, they step back. And when they step back, karma steps in. Not in a dramatic way, but in the form of absence. The absence of their loyalty. Their presence. Their quiet support that once made your world feel more stable. Imagine someone standing beside you every day. Someone who remembers the little things. Who supports you without asking for anything in return. And then, one day, that person is just gone. That's what happens when Virgo lets go. And the most painful part? You don't realize what you lost until you feel the emptiness where they used to stand. Now think about arguments. Most people think Virgo avoids confrontation because they're weak. But the truth is very different. Virgo avoids drama because they value peace. But don't mistake that for fear. Because when you push them, when you corner them with lies, manipulation, or disrespect, they will defend themselves. And when they do, it's not emotional. It's surgical. Virgo won't raise their voice. They won't attack your character. What they'll do is bring facts. Precise, sharp facts. Exact dates. Exact words. The small details you forgot, but they didn't. They'll dismantle your story piece by piece. Not to humiliate you, but to reveal the truth. And that's where most people lose. Because Virgo doesn't fight to win. They fight to clarify. And when they're done, when they've said what needs to be said, they won't continue the argument. They'll walk away. And their silence after that? That's the real punishment. Because you'll be left standing there, replaying every word they said. Every truth they exposed. And the worst part, you'll know they were right. Karma, in Virgo's world, doesn't look like revenge. It looks like reflection. The universe doesn't punish you with chaos. It punishes you with clarity. With the harsh truth of your own actions, reflected back at you. And Virgo? They won't say, "I told you so." They'll just be gone. Now let's talk about help. Virgo helps from the heart. Not for recognition. Not because they want something from you. They help because that's who they are. They see your struggle. They notice your needs. And without asking, they show up. They fix what's broken. They guide you when you're lost. They stay up late, worrying about you, while you sleep peacefully, never realizing the depth of their care. But, when you betray that help, when you take their presence for granted, when you misuse their energy, something changes inside them. Quietly. Subtly. But permanently. They don't stop helping because they're angry. They stop helping because they no longer believe you deserve it. That shift is heartbreaking. For them, more than for you. Because helping others is how they love. And when they stop, they're grieving that part of themselves too. You might think you can apologize. You might think you can explain. But when Virgo sees that their loyalty was wasted, they don't offer second chances. They protect their heart. And they walk away from the person who taught them that not everyone deserves their care. What's left behind is silence. The absence of their support. Their quiet strength. Their invisible protection you never noticed until it's gone. And in that silence, you'll understand the real cost of losing a Virgo. Their help, their love, their loyalty was never loud. But once it's gone, nothing feels the same again. In the next part of this video, we'll uncover the final 3 truths. The deepest. The most painful. And perhaps, the most controversial lessons about Virgo. What they reveal might challenge everything you believe about love, about loyalty, and about losing someone who once cared for you more than you ever realized. Stay with me. Because the ending is where everything changes. It's hard for Virgo to open up. That's something people often misunderstand. On the outside, they might seem approachable, calm, even easy to talk to. But inside, they're cautious, careful, always watching before trusting. Letting someone into their heart isn't something they do easily. It's not that they don't want connection. It's that they fear what happens after they open that door. Because once they let you in, it means they truly believed in you. Truly believed you were different. But when that trust is broken, something inside them shuts down. Not temporarily. Not as a warning. But in a way that feels permanent, even to themselves. It's like a wall is built, brick by brick, each layer made of disappointment and regret. And no matter how much you try to explain or apologize, you can't tear it down. Because that wall was built to protect the softest parts of them. Parts you'll never access again. They'll still smile at you. They'll still be polite. But the deep connection you once had? Gone. And you might not understand why. You might think they're punishing you. But the truth is, they're protecting what's left of their heart. Because opening up once was a risk. Doing it again feels like self-destruction. If you've ever been loved by a Virgo, think about that. Think about what it cost them to trust you. To share their thoughts. To be vulnerable in ways they rarely are. If you hurt them after that, know that the door you closed will never open for you again. That's not anger. That's survival. And now, the last truth. Virgo gives you quality. Quiet, thoughtful, consistent quality. They're not the ones who promise you the world in words. But they'll bring you coffee without asking. They'll remember your favorite song after hearing it once. They'll support your goals even when you've forgotten how to believe in yourself. Their love isn't loud. It's detailed. It's subtle. It's daily. And here's the saddest part. When you lose that, nothing else compares. After Virgo is gone, you'll start to notice how others don't remember the small things. How they don't check on you when you're quiet. How they don't anticipate your needs before you even speak. And that's when you'll feel it. The absence of their care. The silence of their loyalty. The quiet love that once made you feel safe without you realizing it. Because Virgo never asked for attention. They simply gave it. Freely. Consistently. And once that's gone, life feels colder. People often chase grand gestures, thinking that's what love looks like. But real love is in the details. In the consistency. In the quiet ways someone shows you they care. And Virgo mastered that. Until you gave them a reason to stop. So, if you have a Virgo in your life right now, pause. Look around. Notice the small things they do. The ways they love without asking for anything in return. And ask yourself, have you been appreciating them? Or have you been assuming they'll always be there? Because nothing stings more than realizing you lost the rarest kind of love. The kind that doesn't demand. It simply gives. And once you lose a Virgo, you don't lose a person. You lose a kind of love that no one else can replicate. So, what's the lesson here? Treat loyalty like the rare gift it is. Respect the people who protect you in silence. Cherish the ones who remember the things you forgot. Because quiet love is often the strongest love. And losing it is often when you finally realize just how much it held you together. If you've seen yourself in this video, if you've ever felt taken for granted, or lost someone whose quiet presence changed your life, don't carry that alone. Click subscribe. Join this space where we talk about what others overlook. Like this video if it spoke to your heart. And share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Because maybe, just maybe, they'll realize before it's too late. And if you're a Virgo listening right now, remember, your silence is powerful. And your loyalty? That's your gift. Protect it. There's so much more to explore about love, healing, and the quiet strength inside each of us. So stay with me. Because the next video might just help you understand yourself or someone you love in ways you never expected.